Hi all, this is Chris Terrell with Everydayvba, and in this video we're going to be looking at the most popular worksheet methods. Now again, there's properties and their methods. Properties are more descriptive, methods actually do something, and we are going to look at the most popular ones that have to do with worksheets. And those are to add, to delete, to activate or select. Activate and select are very similar, to copy and or to move. So I've got a submade here called WSMethods. And we're just going to go ahead and dig right in. So the first thing we're going to look at is we're going to look at adding, and then we're going to look at deleting. So we got adding. I'm going to actually type in here and deleting, typing away there. So first thing I did was I declared WS as a worksheet. Now I do that a lot because it does give me access to IntelliSense, and let me just show you what that looks like. So if I hit WS, it's going to give me all of the properties and methods for the worksheet. It gives me that IntelliSense. I typically do that a lot, specifically with worksheets or ranges. It just makes coding simpler. So that's your quick tip. You get that for free today, which is awesome. So we're digging right in. I'm going to hit F8. I've got a error here. I've called this sheet. It should be sheets. Go figure. Hit F8. Okay, first thing we're going to do is we're going to add a worksheet. We're going to name that my worksheet. We are going to put that after. Now if you see after and then equals, that means that that is part of that function, and that function, so these functions, the best way to show you what I'm talking about is just to actually just type it out. So if you'd go Worksheets.Add and you hit parentheses, you can add it before or you can add it after. And if in this line we have it after, and we've got after colon equals, so instead of using a comma, you could actually do this by doing a comma. You would go add, it would look like comma, and notice it gets to after. So that's kind of the exact same thing. So you actually may see that. It's kind of a random syntax piece that you kind of run into, but at least you have this here. So what we're going to do is we're going to run this code, or this line of code, and it's going to actually add a sheet. It's going to call that sheet my sheet. It's going to put it after the last workbook, which the last workbook is 5, and so when I hit F5 or F8, you'll notice that it creates a sheet. It goes to that sheet, and it renames that sheet my sheet. Now I'm going to go ahead and delete this. So worksheets, worksheet count, which is going to give me that index, which is 6. I'm going to delete it. It's going to give me a warning. I'm going to show you how to get rid of that warning with some code. It says you're deleting a sheet. Warning, warning, the sky is falling. Are you sure you want to do this? You're going to hit delete. Now if you're doing this in code, we're going to go back to where we were at. If you're doing this in code, you probably don't want to have that happen. So I've got Worksheet.Add after the worksheet 1. So this is after the first worksheet. So it would end up being the second worksheet. And when we run this, you'll notice that it shows up as sheet 2. It also shows up as the second sheet in my workbook. I'm going to name it new name. Now notice I'm using the object, the assigned object, where we assigned it to WS. Hit F8. It's going to rename it. I'm going to print that down here just for fun in my immediate window. Now I'm going to go use Application.DisplayAlerts equals false. And what that's going to do is it's going to say, I know that I'm going to get an error or an alert when I try to delete this. I don't care about it. So you'll notice when I click delete, it just deletes it. I don't get that warning. Okay. Now the other thing I want to show you is just the activate. So if you hit sheets1.activate, it's going to activate the first sheet, which is my little sheet on object-oriented programming. You can also use the name of the sheet, so worksheet method, which is the one that we were on. It's the same as select. Now sometimes you'll run into issues with select. So I used to always use select. I've actually changed it to alert. They're kind of one and the same. So I'm just going to run through those real quick. Those are the same. If you've seen other videos, you'll notice that if you've watched some of my other videos, you've probably seen this where I show you that there's kind of 3 ways to do it. Okay, how do you copy a sheet? Well, this is a really easy one to copy to a new workbook. So we're going to click copy. Now it's going to create a new workbook. You'll notice it created book 1, which we need to. You'll notice that I'm actually in book 1 right now, which is great. Created that. You'll notice it says book 1 right here. I've got book 1 right here. Now, since I haven't changed my reference to my original workbook that I was in, which is the object-oriented programming one, it's going to do the rest of this code in this new workbook. So it's going to copy this. It's going to make a copy, and it's going to do it in the same workbook. So if I hit F8, it's going to create that. You'll notice that I created overview. I created overview number 2. Now we're going to look at move real quick. So we're going to just print the Debug.Print just to put it down here. We're going to move overview 2, which is this first sheet, and we're going to move it after the second sheet. So if we hit this again, it's going to move overview 2 from here to here. Okay, now we're going to print sheet 1 again. Now you'll notice it changed because my sheet reference changed, and if I run this again, it's going to move this first workbook after the second workbook, and it will look like it did originally. Now you'll notice that you don't have to select that sheet in order to process this code. It does it all by itself. Alright, so that is a very quick overview of the most popular worksheet methods. Hope this is helpful, and I hope you enjoyed it.